All right, welcome, guys. Just so everybody knows, I got my buddy Tony, I got my
Hey,
buddy Floyd, and my name is Mike Prisco, and we are fans. We're a bunch of guys who love the entertainment industry. We love anything to do with pop culture, anything like that. So, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of talk about it. We're going to share some stories. We're going to hit on some topics, and we're just going to have some fun. I'd like to introduce first up top here, Tony. Go ahead and
hey.
introduce yourself. If you guys want to hear a great podcast, Tony and a couple of his friends are doing a podcast, The Knowledge of Nothing. Tony, talk
Thank
about it a little
you.
bit. It's a great podcast. You guys will love it.
All right, thanks. Hey, I'm Tony. I'm one of the hosts of the Knowledge of Nothing podcast. We've been doing it for just about a year now. It's something that my buddy and I, a couple of us, and I roped in one of our friends to do with us, who happens to be a techie. And we just, again, it's all about pop culture. We're usually on Star Wars and Marvel, but aside from that, you can check us out if you want. But I just want to talk about my relationship with Mike here and with Brian. I have known these gentlemen for 30 years. They're my closest, dearest friends, and they are part of the reason why I love pop culture. I've spent so much time with these gentlemen in lines for things throughout our history that I'm glad that Mike is finally doing the fan cave. And I'm just so honored to be a part of the first episode, Mike. So thank you
Oh,
so much for bringing me on.
right. There's no two people that I would rather have on a first episode than you guys. I mean, I've known Floyd. I've known you 40 some years. I mean, it sounds
I've known you
ridiculous,
since
but
kindergarten, so that would be accurate.
yeah, yeah. So
Wow.
40 some years,
Yeah.
Tony, 30 some years. Um, Tony and I, we were Comic Con before Comic Con was cool.
Damn right we were.
So
Jeez.
we've been through it. But
Everything.
everything exactly. Floyd, give us a little
Yo.
bit about you, man.
Brian David Floyd. I used to be Mike Prisco's next door neighbor for about 20 years of my life. And the cool thing is, our parents still live next door to each other in the houses that we grew up in.
Yep.
And so I now reside outside of Nashville, Tennessee. So
Oh,
like so many other people in my community, I'm a refugee from California. And
Woohoo! Me too.
I'm still here.
well, I don't think there's a big enough U-Haul for all those toys.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Jeez.
It's gonna be a
Here's the
whole
other
separate
thing. I
unit.
really don't think, Tony, I really don't think Mike's going to let somebody else handle
You know, I think they're gremlins, man. Mike, do you like water those at night and they just multiply?
They have multiplied a little bit, just a little bit. But this is just one wall. I
Yeah,
have this wall. I got a wall over there, and you can't even see that stuff.
it's
So
incredible, folks.
just one
Incredible.
wall.
it. The good news is there's no severed heads in the freezer. There's just toys on the shelf.
Just toys. This is it.
That's
And part of this beauty really comes down to nostalgia for me. Things that I didn't have when I was a kid. That comes back to you. I used to go over to Brian's house all the time, and he'd have these large-sized Darth Vader. He'd have these Stretch Armstrong stuff, and I would just be like, I want this. And now I get it. I'll get it all now.
All right, there you go.
So
And
now
by the
you're-
way- by
now
the way,
you're turned
Darth
into
Vader
Gollum,
is-
is what
Darth
you're saying.
Vader is somewhere over in
My
the hallway.
precious. Yeah, he's well. I have a Vader over there, but
Yeah,
it is what it is.
And speaking of nostalgia and Stretch Armstrong, I'm currently working on a Christmas story
Yeah.
called Jack
Oh,
Frost.
wow.
Yeah, Jack Frost roasting on an open fire. And it's based on kids in elementary school who changed the lyrics to Christmas songs like Robin Laid an Egg, Rudolph the Trigger Happy Lunatic.
I've never heard that one.
Oh,
Brian,
yeah,
care to give us a couple lines?
Rudolph the Trigger Happy Lunatic had a very shiny gun. Jerome
Okay, all right, never mind. All right, never mind. That's enough.
One thing I just want to do. I want to mention one thing about Floyd. He's an author. He's released some books. Tell him about your books.
I've got 4 books out. First is a memoir about my father called Dad Was Right. And it's basically 10 things that my dad was right about that I thought he was absolutely wrong about. That was a test to see what the indie author world was like. The next was a rock and roll fantasy called Cloning Elvis, which I believe that is dedicated to Mike, since Mike was a huge Elvis fan growing up.
Yeah.
And so he got me into Elvis. And then Robert Slosby and I adapted a screenplay we had for an 80s type Dazed and Confused that at the time we were going to call the movie was going to be called. God, why is it slipping? Living on a
Class
Prayer.
of '87. Now it wasn't it? I thought it was Class of
It
'87.
was going to be Living on a Prayer.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, wouldn't have been the perfect song to close out the soundtrack. Come on.
Yeah.
It opens with Beastie Boys, ends with that. So we tried to do that. Wrote another one called Last Wishes, which actually takes place in Norco. Have another book called Other Plans, which is kind of a follow-up to that. And then I've decided I wanted to release a Christmas story this year. So Jack Frost Roasting on Open Fire, set Christmas 1979.
Nice.
Yes, kids at Riverview going on Christmas break. Imagine what can happen. And by the way, Mike, in one of the last chapters, a kid is told to meet me at the Rock.
Nice. Oh, the Rock. I've seen many fights at the Rock.
No.
They were like Mike Tyson fights, though. They were really overbilled and nothing really happened.
Yeah, and it was always the same, like 3 or 4 people that would always meet there.
but I got it, Mike. I have to ask you because we had another group of neighbors. So there were the Priscos, there were the Floyds, and there were the Galiffas. Were you ever in the car when D. Galiffa picked y'all up from school and he decided to break up a fight on the way home?
No,
Okay.
I think you were though, weren't you?
No,
I
hope not. But I remember Brad was like, "I'm so embarrassed. My dad's breaking up a fight."
Yeah, that would be a little embarrassing.
Yeah, because Dee would get over there and like, guys, shake hands.
Yeah.
There's a good guy too.
Yeah, good guy. So, what's going on? I mean, just really quick, I want to talk about. There's rumors about SpiderMan No Way Home. So, we've heard some stuff about maybe people are going to be showing up. But I just wanted to ask you guys a quick question. So the trailer that came out, I really enjoyed it. I loved it. Floyd, did you see the trailer? So part of what I've been reading online, stuff like that, is people are like, well, maybe in the next trailer, they'll show some more. But me personally, I would be good without a trailer.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I think I've already seen too much.
Exactly.
And I feel like that we need to. I think everything else needs to be a closely guarded secret and just surprise us and wow us because I personally have some issues with Marvel right now. I think they're hitting somewhat of a slump, but that's just me personally. And the less I know about this Spider-Man, the better, in my opinion.
Right. I mean, seeing Alfred Molina was cool,
yes.
But I don't want to see any more. No. That was almost too much for me.
Yeah.
Well, and then the other thing is I think right now there's an interesting thing going on that we've never seen before in marketing. And so you used to, you'd see a trailer for a movie is for a movie and so on and so forth. And so being that phase 4 of the MCU is running into the multiverse, and that clearly ties back to Loki. Mm-hmm. And actually, it really ties back to Endgame because you think about it, they did so many things that violated the space-time continuum that set all this in place. Mm-hmm. So it's funny. I almost feel like the trailers have enough, like what's that, and then you have to go watch their show. So it almost feels like the trailer is a very gentle way to get you to subscribe to Disney Plus.
And not only that, on top of it, Marvel is notorious for adding or removing things from trailers just to throw you off.
That I hate that.
Really? Why?
Well, because it's just like I was sitting there the other day and I was watching something and it showed Thor from I think it was Endgame, where he had short hair and he was all dressed nice and it was part of the trailer.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, where did that happen in the movie? It didn't. I mean, regular people, we understand, Marvel, they're going to change things in the trailers and but why even do that though? I mean, you're just misleading us and people are going to get to a point to where they're going to be waiting to see that and then it's going to change and they're going to be like, I don't know about that. Like, but, I mean, I would rather them not show anything than to change it.
Really? Okay, so like in those big action shots where they've got everybody kind of running in a row, you need to add some people in there to create an illusion, right? I mean, this is all about storytelling. I don't see anything wrong with putting things into the trailers and then removing them if they need to. I think that just adds to an element of surprise, which I happen to enjoy. And Mike, I know that you are not a big fan of surprises, right? You are just somebody that wants it like, you tell it to me straight and
I just don't want to be misled.
Okay, and
That's
but how does that mislead
But
you?
well,
That
I think the biggest issue is, and I'm sure that the director of these movies would agree with you, especially Rogue One, because watch that first trailer of Rogue One again. Go back and watch
yeah, but they
that.
reshot that whole movie.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But see, but this is exactly what the issue is that the marketing department needs a trailer. And so
Sure,
what? And so
I
what it
get the
just
trailer.
did, so they haven't even assembled the full first cut of the film, and then they have to go through it. So there's some stuff in there that's going to get there. That's always going to happen, especially in big movies like this where they have to.
Those
they
types
have,
of things, I get it.
yeah.
I'm cool with that. It's when they deliberately change a suit because they don't want you to see the real suit. So we're just gonna put this other suit on him.
So
Or
what why is that fundamentally, why is that an issue for you? I mean, why are you like in the trailer? I mean, is it just a misled? Is it something that you just don't I don't know. I know that you don't like surprises. Is that part of it, or you just
well, I do like surprises. I just want to see what they want me to see. I don't want them to say, okay, well, we're gonna change this during this preview and make it different, and then when you see the movie, it's gonna be completely
Okay,
different.
so I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I've got
Yeah.
something that I want to throw in, and again, was there not a trailer? I don't know if this is true or if this is not, and I'm talking to the two perfect folks for this question. Was there or was there not a trailer called Revenge of the Jedi?
Yes,
I don't think there was ever a trailer. There was a poster.
there was.
Was there a
No,
trailer?
there was a trailer.
Okay, so using that logic that you just gave me, they weren't omitting costumes. They actually had to change the entire name of the film. So, I mean, does that change your perspective, or kind of
No.
understand where the filmmakers are coming? Or?
No, because that was a decision that George Lucas made that he didn't want to name the film that.
And we
So
were
that
also
was
in
like
the fourth grade,
it
so
was a
didn't bother
mistake.
us as much.
Yeah, well, I mean,
So
the thing
true,
is
right?
when he was looking at that, and he put out, we're going to make it Revenge of the Jedi, and then he decided, well, Jedi's don't get revenge, so we're going to make it Return of the Jedi. So he changed it. That wasn't purposely. They didn't purposely try to mislead us.
Well, and there was a weird thing about that
Okay.
because I think it's the second draft of the script, clearly says Return of the Jedi on it that Lawrence Kasdan turned in. And so it got changed before they went, while they were filming it, and then it got changed back before they released it. So,
Yeah.
like early notes and early drafts of the script say Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it just it adds to the element of surprise. And back to Spider-Man, I think I'm hoping that there were some fake shots in there because maybe some of the things that I didn't see, I'm not going to see, and maybe there's a surprise around the corner. So, in this day and age with marketing and how leaks happen constantly, you have to be thinking 4 steps ahead, and I think the studios are doing that by omitting some of these costumes, and I see why they're doing it. I don't personally have an issue with it. I like being surprised in a movie. I like seeing something, and then I go back to see the trailer and see it's changed. It's just, I don't know.
You know,
And then you understand. Then you understand where the perspective was at that time, right? You then understand. Oh, that's why they took this out, was because they didn't want to spoil X, Y, or Z.
You know what
Yeah,
I think?
but
You know what I think
don't
it
make
is,
the
though?
trailer 3-4 minutes long. Then
That's true.
just make it a minute trailer and just show a few good scenes.
Fair enough. Yes, and cut it down to 2 minutes.
Cut it
I
down.
get you. Yeah.
I think that it's actually a very psychological thing because I get where Mike's coming from because I do this while I watch a movie. I try to place the trailer moments.
Yeah, I
And
do that.
especially
too.
Really? Wow.
Especially if they get used in a way where like, oh, that made a good trailer, but it really didn't matter in the movie. And I'll go back to Phantom Menace on that. When that first trailer came out and you see the fog and the things coming through the fog, it looks like it's this really creepy thing. Well, no, it was actually towards the end of the movie, and like it was a very limited shot, but it worked for the trailer because it gave you the Star Wars feel.
I like trailers to a point. I don't want to see too much in a trailer. I don't want to see a 4-minute trailer. I mean, I'll watch a 4-minute trailer. Don't get me wrong. I'll be right there with everybody else. But I would rather see just a small trailer because sometimes I know that I've walked out of a movie and I've thought to myself, That trailer had absolutely nothing to do with how this movie ended up. If they would have did the movie like they were teasing us the trailer was, I would have been much happier with the movie. And I think that's
Yeah.
sometimes these trailers ruin experiences like that for people. They
I
show
can
too
see that.
much.
Yeah,
Or
and
they
then,
show the wrong things and they emphasize the wrong things.
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe.
Or
Because
sometimes you'll watch a trailer, but sometimes I'm if one is put together thoughtfully, like I'll give one for an example. Brian sent me a trailer for this new movie for Paul Thomas Anderson. I don't know what this movie is about, but the trailer intrigued me, and I was like, "Wow, I have no idea what's going on here, but I want to be a part of that." And
For
I
sure.
really enjoyed the not knowing anything else about this but the trailer going. And Paul Thomas Anderson tends to do that with his trailers, which it kind of it makes you start asking questions, and then you're curious, and then you want to go see what the heck this is all about.
Yeah. No, I get all that.
well,
It's
but
just, I don't know.
he's a brand
Yeah,
unto
no,
himself, so the trailer fits the brand,
Yeah, of course.
and so.
But I just I get where you're coming from. If you're going to stick to it, or why bother?
But
Why
it's
waste the
marketing
time and why
department
do
not
that?
talking to creative. And one of the best examples is still the third Star Trek movie, not Into Darkness, Beyond. Remember that first trailer?
Oh,
For Star Trek
yes.
Beyond?
Yeah, it was Star Trek
and
Beyond.
and it felt Fast and Furious, which it didn't need to feel. And even the
Yeah,
director,
well, because
even the
I
director
mean, look
said,
at the
"I would not
director."
have released that director." I would
Yeah,
have
but the
released
director
that
was James Wan, and James
Uh-huh.
Wan is kind of known for that stuff. So I mean, he was known for more horror stuff, but he also didn't he direct one of the Fast and Furious movies or no?
Yeah,
I thought it was at some point tied to it, but I could be way wrong. In fact, let me check that before I say anything more. So you guys keep discussing.
Because I remember that, but it was what they released felt more Fast and Furious than Star Trek, and that's your core audience. So you can have a mega Star Trek hit, but you first have to hit it with the audience.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of Star Trek, Floyd, have you watched Discovery?
Season 1 and 2.
All right, I just finished season 3. Fantastic. I know, Tony, you're not really into Star Trek too much, but Discovery
No.
is a great show.
Okay, I am. I actually watched like the first 3 or 4 episodes of Discovery, and
Okay.
I really enjoyed it. But I never went back. So, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to Paramount. So
Yeah,
maybe
I
need
went
to do
in.
that.
I did the same thing as you did. I watched like the first 4 or 5 episodes, and then I got away from it for some reason. And then I was talking to actually Floyd about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm in season 2," and I was like, "Okay, I got to go back and check it out." And
Yeah.
when I went back in, it was right at that point where it started getting good again. So,
Yeah,
Okay.
the first 2 episodes
I
of
finished
Discovery. Yeah, the first 2 episodes of Discovery are rough. It's not the best writing. It is very heavy on exposition, and it takes off in the 3rd episode. And so they had basically a movie prequel to the show.
Wow.
So I mean, so there's a lot of setup. Is it necessary? Yeah, probably. But it felt real heavy. Like I'm like, these are really good writers, and I don't know why they're doing this.
But then it kicks into gear. I mean,
yeah, then it kicks into gear.
Yeah, a show needs a couple of episodes before it finds its footing.
Yeah.
And by the way, James Wan did direct Furious 7. So
Yes,
I found that out. Yay.
Nice.
the interwebs.
One more. We'll talk about one more just really quick about a trailer. Did you guys? I know, Tony, you've seen it. Floyd, The Matrix
Yes,
4. Did you see that?
yes,
What do you think?
I'm in.
I'm in. Looks great.
It is. I totally love it. I was actually thinking that I want to read William Gibson's Necromancer before watching it, since he's the one who first started talking about the Matrix in fiction in 1984, and not the book, but the year. And he coined the term cyberspace.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't know that.
so there are many ode to him in these kind of movies. And so I was thinking about, picking that up. That is like a classic work of science fiction. And he was well ahead of his time. I mean, think about it. He's writing about things in the Matrix and plugging yourself into an alternative reality in 1984. And, we were like,
Yeah. So
Saw that
are
coming.
we were
Are
like,
we?
is David Lee Roth really leaving? That's kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
He's been gone.
Oh my God, yeah, that was oh geez, how old? I was 11. Oh my
Yes.
goodness, that was a long time ago. But with that, oh geez, I forgot where I was going with that. But with that trailer, Oh, I'm sorry. What were we talking about again?
Matrix.
Matrix. Oh yes, with the. I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought. You see,
No.
this is my ADD that's kicking in.
That's all right.
By the way, you
But
know,
with the
you know
Matrix-
what? You know I love playing with your.
I know, guys. I know. All right, we could tell some stories, and I'm sure we will at some point. But the Matrix,
will.
I did love it. I thought it was great. To me, it looks like it's part of this whole trend of multiverse stories. And if you saw the ending, the third Matrix film, they kind of leave that open as like this could just be another Neo going through another realm. At some point, I feel it's going to be a little bit different, but I did like seeing these homages to the first one, but just slightly skewed. I mean, you see the elevator, you see some gunfights, you see things that are just, and even Morpheus versus Neo, if that is indeed Morpheus. You have a younger Morpheus juxtaposed against a older Neo and an older Trinity. I found it fascinating, so I'm looking forward to see where they go with this.
Yeah.
I was not in at the beginning, but after the trailer, I'm definitely in now.
Yeah, my thing was when I found out they were making another one, I was like, it doesn't really need to be done. But then I saw the trailer and I was like, okay, cool. I'm in. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to take this
Then again, we're going
journey.
to walk out of the movie theater going, they really didn't need to make another one now.
That trailer sucked.
Yeah,
but
that trailer is very good fan service.
Yes, but the one thing I will tell you is that there is like one movie where they came out with a fourth one, and I will not watch it to this day. The trailer's cute, but to me, the movie should have just ended with number 3 and not gone on, and that to me is Toy Story. Even though people are telling me about Toy Story 4 and how wonderful it is, I don't want to have anything to do with that movie. I don't want it existing in my mind.
Yeah.
3 was the perfect ending for me. That was all I needed. I don't need to see a fourth Woody and Buzz, but everybody swears it's really good. But
it's a good movie. It didn't need to be told.
Okay.
Like they did these little shorts like Toy Story and Hawaii type things, and those were cute because they were little tiny further adventures. But Toy Story 4, it was a good movie. I liked it.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen it and you're not going to, you're not just be happy with that trilogy.
Okay.
I think you'll be fine. I thought you were going to say when you were talking about the fourth movie, I thought you were talking about Indiana Jones.
Oh my God! Oh, dude! Wait, this is only a half-hour podcast, so
this is only half hour.
You know what? The next, I think, 3 episodes we could dedicate to just everything that is wrong with that film.
I only have one problem with the entire movie.
You only have one problem with what?
I only have one problem with it.
I know what that one problem is. The entire movie.
No.
Go. Hey, you know what? No. Let's go.
That's what my problem is.
No.
Let's talk about it. Let's do it.
It's Shia swinging with the monkeys.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
What about the fridge, though? What about the fridge? How can you? No, what? How can you like that? It's so. No, it's dumb. It's dumb. It is.
Did you know that scene was originally in Back to the Future?
No, really?
That scene with the refrigerator. See, Back to the Future was originally going to be like Doc Brown and Marty go to some nuclear test site, and
because they needed a nuclear weapon to.
Yeah, and that whole refrigerator going in was part of Back to the Future. So Steven Spielberg loved that scene so much he wanted to rewrite it, and he put it in.
But here's the other thing.
Oh my God! You mean that wasn't George Lucas's like?
No,
thing?
that's Steven Spielberg.
Are you
brother.
fucking? Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, bleep me out. I'm sorry. Are you kidding me?
Are
you kidding me?
The other thing is that Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis said that Spielberg told them to take the refrigerator out because kids would play in the refrigerator and get locked in, thinking it was a time machine, and he didn't want kids dying. So it's kind of funny that he brought it back. So
let's stick an old man in there instead.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? You're already almost there, so let's go ahead and put you in this refrigerator anyway and blast off. Oh God, I cannot stand that.
No, that Indiana Jones, that fourth movie, is probably the biggest travesty to a trilogy that I've ever seen. But
wow.
Wow,
that's some pretty serious territory you're staking there.
It was horrible.
I know, especially
absolutely horrible.
And if anybody knows anything about Mike, there are two people in this world of pop culture that Mike is absolutely in love with and worships, and collects everything involved. And one of them is Superman, and the other one is Indiana Jones. So if he is telling you that he was hurt,
it's a worse rating than the
Yes.
Quest for Peace. So I'm like,
that's a good one.
Yeah, the Quest for Peace was actually, I think they're about tied. Quest for Peace was horrible too. That was really, really, really bad.
But if you had to pick one though, Mike, which one? If you had to watch it over again, which one would you be better at? Which one are you okay with?
If I had to watch one of them, I would probably watch Indiana Jones.
Bam.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, wow. Quest for Peace. And until Brian broued it up, I didn't even really think about that. That was
that's where
I've completely erased it from my mind. That's how bad that was.
Well, Floyd brought it back right for you, right?
Thank you, Floyd. I appreciate that.
We will owe Mike some money for therapy now.
Yes, I know exactly. Yeah, Thank you for bringing that up.
This is working out. Good for all of us. I think.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, talking about Indiana Jones, they have he's making a new one. Are you nervous about that at all?
Yes. There's no way around it. I don't know. I was so disappointed with the fourth one. Honestly, it just needs to die on the vine unless something else miraculous happens with this franchise. But I just don't see the storytelling being as strong. Maybe if they brought some younger writers, some other things. I don't know. I don't know how you can make it work, especially after that travesty of a film. I just don't know how you're going to be able to redeem yourself. So why even bother?
It better be great. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I doubt it's going to be great. So that's the issue.
Floyd, what do you think?
I have no idea on this one.
You're indifferent?
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I love to watch Harrison Ford in a movie. I love to watch Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
He has the best oh shit face of anyone in a movie. and he runs right into the camera. And then the way he can take a punch. There's that scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark when they're fighting out by the plane and the guy hits him and he just like falls down.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I love about Indiana Jones is he's in all these fights and he really can't fight. And so,
he's got to use his wits. I mean, that's a beautiful part of that about that character.
And so I love that because like now everyone's like trained in all this stuff, and even Neo like, oh hey, I know kung fu, and so, but I like the idea of a regular guy getting into a fight with people. And you just don't see it anymore. And at the same time, they're all chiseled like Chris Hemsworth, and I just don't feel like there's any regular guy heroes out there. Even though I want to see.
What about Chris Pratt? He's kind of a regular dude.
Since he went Marvel,
actually, I think Chris Pratt would make a great Indiana Jones.
He probably would.
Okay. I can see. I can get on board with that. I can totally get on board with Chris Pratt being Indiana Jones.
I would be all right with that.
But again, I get where you're coming from, Floyd. I love Harrison Ford. I mean, there's nobody else that lights up a screen more than he does. Yeah. It's just
And so
he's the every guy. That's what I think is so good about Harrison Ford. He's the every guy. Even Han Solo, like there's nothing spectacular about Han Solo. He's just who he is, and Indiana Jones is who he is. No special powers. He's just the average guy, and I think that's why people can relate to those characters a lot when they see them.
Yeah, and I think I think that's why he's so endeared to us, right? Growing up, because this guy was somebody that could make his mistakes and correct them like right then and there. He was thinking all the time. So he would be someplace and he's trying to figure things out, and he would just have to do something real quick to make that change. And if he failed, and there were a couple of times where he did fail.
Yeah, there were consequences.
Yes, exactly. And that is, I think, the magic of those films in particular, is that every man that comes up with these impossible circumstances and he seems to overcome them just using his brain as opposed to his brawn. And I think that is something that is missing in today's films.
Well, and there's a great scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's after they get out of the Well of the Souls and blow up there. He said, get to Omar's, get transportation. This is this. What about you? He goes, I'm going to have to try. He's like, how? He goes, I don't know. I'm making this up as I go. And that whole I'm making it up as I go. And you're like, can't you just love this guy? And
you know what? One of my favorite scenes of that in the entire trilogy is how he is. Oh, who's he talking about? That is like a spy, and they're like, Oh God, what's the name
Marcus
of the
Marcus
guy?
Brody.
Yes, Marcus Brody.
Yeah.
He can hide in anywhere.
Yeah.
He's a chameleon. You're
Yeah.
never gonna find him. The next scene, he's like,
Does
"Hey!"
anybody speak English?
in a white suit. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's the most brilliant. It is the most brilliant thing ever because,
Absolutely.
again, he's using his mind to kind of one up these guys.
Right.
And here, meanwhile,
Yeah.
Marcus is
That's
like,
one of
"What's
my
going
favorite
on?"
scenes too.
It's
Well, another part, it's
absolutely
like, it's
crazy.
right there with like, but he's also a screw up because like, you didn't bring it back here, do you? Oh, I should have mailed it to the Marx Brothers.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yes, and then yes, he goes and sees his dad, and his dad basically shits on him, and it's like, "You
Yeah.
did a stupid thing, son."
Right.
You know, and
But that's what makes him that every guy is because
exactly,
any one of us would have probably did the exact same thing.
exactly.
And the emotion that he shows at that point was like, oh yeah, I guess I messed up. Yeah,
Oops.
okay,
Yeah,
sorry, Dad.
I know.
Yeah, that was the good part about that. I love that.
Yeah. You know,
So
what's
guys,
funny?
hey,
Hold
we're
on,
at-
let me go back. So
Yeah.
Lawrence,
No,
Lawrence
go.
Kasdan once described Raiders of the Lost Ark as either he's chasing them or they're chasing him.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's true.
It really is. That's
That's
really
a great,
is.
yeah. That is, if you think about it, it is. That
Yeah.
is a correct. Yeah, I like that
Yeah.
a lot. But anyhow,
That is true. Guys, I just want to say thank you. It's 30 minutes. We're gonna
Sweet.
cut this. We can do some more stuff in a little bit, but I just want to thank you guys for doing this with me for the first time.
Yeah.
I had a blast. We'll keep it going, but
Yeah, me too.
once again, thank you and welcome to my fan cave, and I appreciate it, guys.
yeah. Anytime.
Take care. We'll see you guys soon.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Take care.
Bye.
See ya. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.